Sometimes when I'm using my Switch, I browse around eShop for a bit, and if I find something that looks interesting to me, I'll add it to my wish list. Then, someday, I'll buy it and play it without any recommendation from anyone aside from a trailer on the official Nintendo YouTube channel and the game's page on the eShop. I've done this a total of 5 times. Doing this is how I found out about the game Semblance, and a few others you may not have heard of and I may talk to you about later. Let's start from the beginning. I hope you like that cover art, by the way, because the game looks nothing like that, which is just so odd. This isn't even the first game to do it, Celeste's cover art also looked nothing like the actual in-game art style. In short, Semblance is a puzzle platformer where you reshape the world to solve puzzles. You play as Squish, who has a name even though I don't remember it being said in-game. Actually, I don't think the game has any text at all, besides the tutorial, the menu, and the title screen. Squish is a blank slate anyway. The story goes that some crystalline guy starts mucking about, then the world goes green, but in a bad way. And since Squish hates change, he goes out of his way to undo all this junk and then later hunts the guy down, Chuck Norris style.
Hey, Chuck!
Squish starts out as a blob, then gets an eye, allowing him to dash, then he gets another eye, allowing him to reset blocks. In an animation made for the game, Squish had pupils which are absent in-game. I guess Squish just has no soul. Hidden in the various levels, you can find spots with these cave paintings that appear to depict more of the story. You know how I mentioned a few other games that were impulse buys? Well, coincidentally, they all told their story in basically this same way. First it started with a main character just being a piece of themselves, then they became their full selves, which gave them some sort of power that the game is based around. Then they go on their way and the rest of the story is told indirectly through quotes and imagery. I guess I should also mention that these games are what you would call minimalistic, including Semblance. Minimal art style, minimal gameplay, minimal story, they're all very simple. Oh, okay. Back on track. Semblance. Once you've completed the tutorial, you're thrust into the surprisingly open world where you're tasked to collect... flames? I'm not sure what these are. Tackle any flame in any level, in any world, in any order you'd like. The structure is quite similar to Braid, where levels have multiple puzzle pieces in bite-sized puzzles that you can easily move past and get in any order. Though most players would just grab them in the linear order anyway. Also, like Braid, there are hidden collectibles that unlock a new ending. I think. I actually haven't been able to find any info on the other ending. There are also these crystal flies that are just crystalling around that you can kill if you dash through them, and also these secret statues that activate when you approach them. And the tree for each world shows you how many you've activated, so they must be important. Speaking of the ending, Semblance does something very strange when you beat the game. See, in most games, when you beat the game, the credits roll and you go back to the title screen. Some games reset your save to right before you beat it. Others have the ending be permanent. But in Semblance, if you beat the game resets. All your progress is gone, and now you must start from the beginning. Good thing Semblance isn't too long and you can do any level at any time. I actually got in contact with the creator of the game, Nihilumbra, in the comment section of a video about the game. I called the game mediocre and they replied and asked me why I didn't like it. When I told them about the game resetting at the end, they agreed that that was bad and said they were working on patching that out. So, if it wasn't intentional, then how did it happen? Here's my theory. I think what they wanted to do was have Semblance be a very pick-up-and-play kind of game, which is why the main menu only has one button, which starts the game, and why every level is available from the start. If you exit a game during a level and then reopen it, instead of going to the main menu with a continue option, you go right to where you left off with a pause screen open. But if you beat the game, you can't just go back to where you were, only pause, because you have nowhere to go. So to avoid a paradox or a game crash, it has to send you back to the main menu screen. The problem is, the main menu only has one option, and that's to start a new game.
Whoops!
Either this was an intentional decision that Nihilumbra realized was bad after the game was finished and released, or it is the holy grail of oversights. But hey, that's just a theory. Anyway, I did some digging to learn more about Nihilumbra, and I was unsurprised to find out that Semblance is their first game. I also found out that Nihilumbra is based in Africa. Huh, the more you know. I guess that's where the name comes from. Hold on, let me check this real quick. Oh hey, if you translate Nihilumbra from Zulu to English, it says, thank you.
Thank you?
You're welcome!
Alright, so there's 3 worlds. Each one has their own batch of gimmicks. The first world is about learning the deforming the world mechanic, as well as an introduction to lasers and these fields to prevent you from dashing. World 2 introduces these red beams, which reset the platforms if they touch them, and then, when a platform is reset, it can give you momentum launching you up. This was a very fun part. And then World 3 has these crystals that, if you dash into them, you get a concussion. Each world feels different at least, as well as them all being different colors. I like how World 3 has a bit of snowfall. Also between each world is this dark gate that I think is only here to make the color change seem more seamless. Then after beating all 3 worlds and getting every single flame, you can enter the final level where you confront the Green Man himself. And then you murder him because Squish is a sociopath. Roll credits.
I'm too shiny, watch me dazzle like a diamond in the rough.
Semblance's art style is very reminiscent of other minimalist games I've played. It's classic, a dark character with bright white eyes. Squish actually looks kinda creepy. Getting through these worlds relies solely on your ability to dash and deform platforms to fit your needs. However, a slight hiccup with how the game is designed is that you don't have full control over how you change your surroundings. If you deform a platform in one direction, you can't deform it in any other direction.
Okay, so pay attention here. I'm able to form it this way as much as I want, but if I wanted to form it the other way, I can't. Why? Only when I reform it can I move it the other way.
This choice is probably made to reduce the risk of glitches and poor balancing, but at certain times it feels restrictive. Like when you try to get creative with your moveset, then the game just says
No!
And other times it doesn't make sense. There's a certain type of platform where if you hit it, instead of being deformed, it moves. Yet that still counts as deforming it, so if you try to hit it from another side, it won't work.
Now I present you an anomaly. This platform doesn't look like it's formed yet. I can't change it. Well, that's because, even though it doesn't look like it, it is formed, you see. It was just moved. And this is something that's really annoying. Just because it was moved means you can't change it.
In my eyes, one of the things in video games that best encourages multiple playthroughs is variables. Like doing a challenge run, making different choices along the way, or just having enough freedom in the controls or mechanics to make each playthrough feel unique. Semblance hardly does well in encouraging new playthroughs because there's really only 1 or 2 ways to do each puzzle. And you may be thinking, that's how all puzzle games work. Each puzzle has one solution. And that may be true, but I don't think it should be true for Semblance, where solving the puzzles is all about utilizing your movement options and how you influence the world. I keep thinking back to when The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild came out, and just how open-ended it was. When a problem presented itself, it wasn't about finding the key to solving it, it was about using the tools you had to find a solution your way. The Reshape the World mechanic is a great idea, but I feel that Semblance can't reach its full potential as a puzzle game. I'd like to see this idea tinkered around with into a full-on 2D platformer where the unique mechanic can really shine. I guess what I'm saying is, be less like Braid and more like Mario. I hope Naomakop's next game really hits it out of the park. I wish you success.
What can I say except you're welcome for the tides, the sun, the sky. Hey, it's okay, you're welcome. I'm just an ordinary demiguy. Hey, what has 2 thumbs and pulled up the sky? When you were waddling yay high, this guy.